Hey, this is Jonathan Howell with Partners in Paradise, Paradise Exclusive Real Estate, located here in Southwest Florida, specifically the beautiful town of Englewood. As you can see, I'm one of two of a dynamic duo. My beautiful wife Tanya is on the other side of the screen here, who's going to be putting everything up that we're going to be taking a look at today, as far as some of the maps and images we're going to be talking about. What we are focusing on today is really changing the narrative when it comes to the damage sustained after Hurricane Milton and after Helene to this specific area of Southwest Florida, from South Venice all the way to South Gulf Cove. And even looking at it a little bit further out from St. Pete down to, say, Marco Island, and talking about how storm surge and this type of specific storm affects an area versus a wind event such as Hurricane Ian. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Tanya, if you could throw the map up here real quick. So right here we're looking at part of beautiful Englewood, Florida. If you want to zoom out a little bit. Here we've got the Gulf of Mexico, Blind Pass Beach, which is about the Sarasota County line up here, moving south. Stump Pass Beach State Park, Don Pedro Island. Here we have Rotunda, which is a development you can actually see from the sky if you're flying over. Gulf Cove, South Gulf Cove area here. And just zoom out a little bit further so that people kind of understand what part of Southwest Florida we're talking about. All right, a little bit more. So here we have St. Pete, Tampa, St. Pete, Sarasota right in here. Moving on down, Naples right down here just south of Fort Myers. So as a storm like Helene or Milton approaches an area, there are basically two sides to the storm. There is the north side of the storm and the south side of the storm. The north side of the storm brings the majority of the wind. The south side of the storm brings the surge. So as you know, zoom back out to where Siesta is, where Milton made landfall. Milton made landfall up here, which puts this entire area south in the south side of the storm, or the storm surge part of the storm. Now zoom up and let's see Cayo Costa. So in 2022, when Ian hit, 2022 came ashore here, which put everything north of here on the north side of the storm, or the wind side of the storm. And why is that different? Why does storms affect areas different ways? It's all about the wind. It's all about the water. So moving back in, taking a look at beautiful Manasota Key right here. This is where we spend the majority of our life. You know, especially if you live here close to the beach. For us, being only 7 minutes to the beach is life. And it just breaks our heart to see the amount of damage that's occurred there from the storm surge. Now, as the storm came on shore and brought its surge, and we still don't have exact numbers of what that surge was, but you know, their estimates, Tanya, would you say 8, 9 feet?
Yeah, about that.
And Helene was somewhere around 4 to 5 feet. So when Helene came ashore and then Milton, it brought all this water. Now, what people think, and what, if talking with friends and family that are from out of state, talking with clients and buyers from out of state, they're of the opinion, and zoom out, Tanya, that the entire town of Englewood was submerged, underwater, heavily damaged, uninhabitable. And that just could not be further from the truth. As a matter of fact, the damage from this storm as compared to Ian was far more localized versus widespread. And when I talk about localized, we're talking about coastal areas. And we'll talk about Manasota Key first right here. And of course, Tanya and I have driven up and down this road numerous times since the storm. And believe it or not, there are properties that that did okay. There are condos where we have friends that live. You want to zoom into where Patrick and Roxanne live? I believe it's a little further south. Right in here.
Right in here.
These condos right here only had sand and water in their garage and carports areas. Very little damage at all. All right. And then there are properties, if you move south, you want to, move north, that we drove by. Go ahead and zoom out a little bit more. That we drove by as we went north on Minnesota Key Road, on Beach Road, that were also undamaged. Now, moving back to talking about storm surge and areas that were affected. So we're going to now look at the intercoastal. So everything along the coast affected. Everything along the coast of the intercoastal affected. Everything along these tributaries like Gottfried Creek. Right here.
Which is like to call Godfrey.
Yeah.
There it is, Gottfried.
Yeah, Gottfried Creek. Everything along here, along the coast. Go ahead and pull out a little bit more. All the way up into here. These homes and properties that are on canals off of Gottfried Creek saw flooding. And then you've got Rock Creek or Rocky Creek right here. These homes, and this is actually not far from where we live. We live just a shade right over there. These canal systems here, 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 and here, and these homes saw a tremendous amount of damage. And actually, believe it or not, everybody's talking about the damage from the coast. Not many people talking about the thousands of homes that were damaged back in that little community there. So there are homes, again, along these flood areas that did not see any substantial damage. Why is that? Well, year built and elevation. Elevation is everything. You could have a home that was built in 1970, but if it's sitting at 12 foot, probably didn't see any flooding. Our home was built in 1996. We sit at 11.4. We didn't see any flooding. One block away from us, homes that were built in the 60s and 70s, destroyed. So elevation, age of home means a lot. Every time there's a storm, Florida changes building codes. Florida learns more about storms and adds those lessons learned into our building codes, changing elevation requirements, changing structural requirements of homes. So every year a new home gets built, it's actually being built with newer updates. I want to zoom back out again. So talking about Milton, talking about how the damage is really localized along the coast and coastal waterways and intercoastal waterways. Zoom out a little bit more. A little bit more. That's good. Now, let me bring Kay Acosta back in. Right there. Now, when Ian came ashore, it was a wind event. Far, far, far more widespread. Here in this area right here, they reported that we had winds of 176 gusts up to 216 or 206. Substantial before it came ashore. Category 5 before it came ashore. As it came in, the damage, we're talking about this little line here and right in here from Milton. From Ian, we're talking everything you see in the screen suffered some type of wind damage because of the high winds, the intensity of the storm, and the time that the storm set over. So when you're comparing storms and when you're talking about areas that were damaged and you're seeing things on the news, it's always best to talk to people that are local and really get an idea of what's really going on and what really happened, and also understand the differences in how the age of construction and the elevation of home can truly be a difference between flooding and not flooding, depending on how close you are to the coast. So I hope this was helpful today. Our main goal here is to change the narrative, to let people know that, after this storm, the impact is really coastal. It's not widespread like Ian was. And, the other side of that is we were looking at data today. How many homes went under contract from South Venice to Gulf Cove?
Just under 300.
Under 300 homes since the storm. So in the last 4 weeks, So just some things to think about. Buyers are here, they're buying property. There's lots of beautiful communities that are unaffected. Lots of strong homes that are here in Paradise that are built to withstand the storm. So hopefully this was helpful. You guys have a great day.